We are a very unique place that serves a very unique population of people. We only serve the most medically complex developmentally disabled. While we function in our environment like a long-term care facility, we provide a higher level of care, which allows us to have an acute it's a specialty hospital license through the state of New Jersey. So it provides a unique set of challenges maintaining the building while also maintaining a hospital like environment for our folks.
So I will just add to that. As you know, I come from running 10 million square foot of some of the most complex space that exists. ESL 3 labs, vivariums, a teaching medical facility. And what happens here was more amazing than any of those things with very little technology.
There's a major crisis facing healthcare facilities management. We have aging employees, aging buildings, and aging infrastructure. We've created the Healthcare Facilities Network, a content network designed specifically to help solve for these three pressing issues in healthcare facilities management. We bring on thought leaders and experts from across healthcare facilities management, all the way from the C-suite to the technician level, because at the end of the day, we're all invested in solving the aging issue. Thanks for tuning in. Look at our videos. You will find that as a theme across our content. This is the Healthcare Facilities Network. I'm your host, Peter Martin. For this particular episode, we visited Matheny down in Peapack, New Jersey. It's a little bit different than your normal acute care hospital. The main campus in Peapack is composed of a specialized hospital, a nonprofit private school, an adult daycare center, and a fine arts center. And then there's also 7 group homes. So many different elements. They're Joint Commission certified. You'll hear about it as we go through the episode. But the folks at Matheny have complex development disabilities, the residents, because they are long-term residents there who are in the hospital and then also avail themselves of the school. But children from the community also go to the school, again, for complex medical disabilities. During this episode, I speak to their director of facilities, Jim Camperly, and Jim is actually how we ended up doing this episode. I recruited Jim to Matheny 2 years ago now. And so Jim and I talk, and we were talking about their mission. One of the biggest challenges that Matheny has, in addition to kind of the overall finances that most facilities struggle with or organizations struggle with, is also awareness that they're out there. And we really want to help promote the special mission of Matheny, because when you go there, you see that it is a very, very special place with a lot of vibrancy to it. A lot of vibrancy. First hooked into Matheny back in 2016, we did a recruitment for a director of FM at that time too. So that person moved on, Jim came in. And so for this episode, we talked to Jim, who's the director, and Melissa Petraka, who's the manager. We talked to their president and CEO, Nancy Hamstra, and we speak with 2 of their maintenance mechanics, very good maintenance mechanics who do everything there, Felix Musha-Yandavu and Paul Divanizia. And both guys tell interesting stories. Although they did not want to join the Healthcare Facilities Network, they were a little leery. They did a great job. I told them, don't be afraid. Guys like that, when they get talking, you learn what they do, and it's amazing. And so I appreciated Paul and Felix joining, though they may not have wanted to. So I hope you will listen to this whole thing, because it's I don't know how to put it in words. You know, Jim says, if you want to visit us, you can, and they will tour you through that facility. And I would encourage you, if you were in that area, it was my second time down there, and it's an incredibly impactful place. And so I just really want to quickly, this is their spring summer magazine. it was funny when I came back and looked at this, I realized that I had seen some of these people there, and I want to go through really, really quickly because I want to get to the main part of the story. But right here, this is one of their long-term employees. She's been there for 40 years. Her name is Charlene. I met Charlene when I was there. I didn't meet her. Melissa was touring me around the facility. So she's a unit clerk. But what was interesting to Charlene, and after Melissa talked to her, I said, "Oh, is Charlene indicative of a lot of your employees here?" And Melissa's like, "Yeah, she is." So in addition to being the unit clerk, she starts, I think, at 6 in the morning. She'll come in at 2:30 in the morning. She'll come in at 3 o'clock in the morning. She'll help in the kitchen. She'll help in a variety of different manners. When we actually stopped to talk to her, Charlene said to Melissa, "Hey, I don't like the orange that's in the cafeteria. Can I paint that a different color? Will you get me paint to do that?" And so Melissa said she would. Charlene also drives the van. So she is representative of the long-term employees who work at Matheny. Nancy will talk about the longevity of their staff. So Charlene would probably be embarrassed. She doesn't know I was saying that, but it struck me when she said, "Hey, can I paint the cafeteria?" And then Melissa's like, "Yeah," and she comes in at 2:30 in the morning. This is Josh Handler. Josh is a resident there. They call them not patients, but residents. The reason I bring that up, folks don't go in and out of Matheny. Josh is 60 years old. He has been there since 1968. Cindy, who's also on that page, she's been at Matheny 37 years ago. So this is home to the residents, and it's an old building. It has, we talk about aging buildings, aging infrastructure, aging employees. It is aging buildings. It is aging infrastructure. And you'll hear Jim and Melissa talk about how they keep it going. And it's a fantastic, fantastic story. So they're residents. And when you walk around the facility, there's an incredible vibrancy to it. Even though many of their residents have, not many, they all have complex medical disabilities. You see in their faces, you see even when they can't move, but their eyes of the residents will follow you. It is incredibly impactful. This is their wheelchair shop. We went here. This was on the bottom floor. I met two of the folks there. I met Christine, who's here, and I met Patrick, who's here, and then I met Ed, who's over here. But this wheelchair shop in the basement of Matheny does incredible work. You'll hear them talk about how for some of the residents, their only way to communicate is via their wheelchair. These folks do an incredible job in the basement of Matheny, getting those ready. One of the other things, and one of the last things, when I was there, I was walking with Jim and there was a bus at the main door. I said, "Jim, what does that bus do?" And so he's like, our residents go everywhere. You might think when you see the folks how they are profoundly disabled that they don't go anywhere, but that's not the case at all. They surf, they do yoga, they do art, they cook, they go to malls. I was at Matheny in June. This will get released probably July or early August. They'd had a prom 2 weeks earlier to me being there, and so all the residents went there. So yeah, I would say, when I was leaving, I said to Jim and Melissa, there's an incredible vibrancy at this place. And it's their mission. Every mission in healthcare is critical. But for some reason, the Matheny has always impacted me. This was Emma. Emma's right here. When Melissa and I were walking around, Emma was on a bike. And it was a large bike, obviously a little bit different, 3 wheels. And she was so excited to be on the bike. And Melissa stopped to talk to her. Melissa knows pretty much every resident in there, or knows every resident in there. But when we were there, Emma goes, "Emma bike, Emma bike." Emma wanted to get moving on that bike with her aide. And it was off she went. She was gone. So I hope you will listen to this whole story, matheny.org, if you want to learn more. And real quickly, we talk about aging employees. Jim is retired. So Jim had a long and distinguished career in FM in the Jersey area, managed the most complex medical and vivarium facilities, University Hospital, number of locations in Jersey. And he was going to go to Matheny for a short period of time, and he's still there. So Jim's retired. working as director of FM. Nancy Hamstra, the president, she was on the board. She was retired. They asked her to come in, I think 2.5 years ago. She'll tell you she's still there. So we talk about aging employees. Here we have two people who are retired working in major roles. And why are they doing it? You'll hear them in their own words, because the mission of Matheny. So with that, I hope you enjoy this 3-part episode with Jim and Melissa, with Paul and Felix, and with Nancy. Thanks for watching. Hello, we're back. This time joined by Jim Camperly, director, Melissa Petranca, facility manager. To you guys first, for the facilities folks, can you give us a sense for this facility as I look outside? What age, you know what facility folks are interested in. We talk about it all the times on the Healthcare Facilities Network. The 3 biggest problems are aging buildings, aging infrastructure, and aging employees. All 3 of them. Tell us your facility. Give us a sense.
We have a facility on this campus that started around 1955 with one building from 1903. It was a converted carriage house, and it was turned into a school. First building built was 1955. That was our first residential wing. And at that time, the majority of people were self-ambulating. All right. Well, we built an addition in 1964, more to the tune of 1964 education buildings. And we were originally designed to house 71 patients with a school that at the time handled anyone that was inside of it. Through that time, we had no major renovations. We did have an equipment change out in 1984 that pretty much replaced 15 10 through 20 ton split systems. In 2001, we redid the MCM, what we call the MCMD, to make it a modern clinic to serve our patients with modern office space. Again, that hasn't been touched since that time. We recently did a controls upgrade. And then we built the Art Center in 2001 as well. Again, original equipment from 2001. So we only encompass 111,000 square feet on this hill. But by age, our equipment's functionally obsolete. You have been on a good capital program to replace components to give us increased reliability. But without decanting patients, we can't really address the infrastructure. So we're a 1964 infrastructure.
Wow. Can I just add? So it's interesting. Without decanting patients, you can't upgrade the infrastructure. So what do you do?
What do we do? So I'll give you, for instance, of yellow zone. We 2 12.5 ton splits serve in yellow zone. It's our pediatric unit. So we replaced the air handlers. We have to take the roof off because we were initially a flat roof that we decided around 1984 to put a roof on the facility. So that's when they replaced everything. We went to splits. So we have to open the roof to directly replace the splits and then clean the existing ductwork and then replace the VAVs one by one with new controls. So our airflows are still based on 1964. All right. And our distribution is still based on 1964. So we have modern production equipment. We have modern controls and on a 1964 infrastructure. So it gives us increased reliability and much better control over the environment that we had even 4 or 5 years ago. So if we were to stay on this hill, our construction plan has to create a domino. Is that domino moving something to an existing structure and then opening that up for the first patient care domino? Is it developing something on this piece of property? That at this time we don't know, but we're currently looking into that.
How many acres do you guys have here?
We have 88 acres. This, for those who don't know, Peapack, New Jersey, Peapack, Mendham, Chester is considered horse country.
It's very pretty.
This is New Jersey horse country. The property has great value, but it has limitations. We are one of 2,700 JCP&L overhead customers as far as electric. We have very limited things that can happen on this campus. Emergency-wise, when we redevelop this campus, if we're going to remain on this hilltop, we have to take in consideration our backup, not just generator power, water supply, fire suppression supply. It's massive. Our utility upgrades will probably be double, triple a traditional hospital just because of our location.
Wow. So a lot of challenges. Yeah. So Melissa, in your role as facility manager, tell us about that.
We are a small but mighty team.
How many people are part of the team?
I have 7 positions. I have 1 position open, 6 currently filled. We are traditional shifts, and we have we have 2 mechanics that rotate weekends. In addition to this beautiful campus, we do support our 7 group homes, which are scattered through Somerset County, Warren County, and 2 up in Frelinghuysen. We also have an adult day center in Hillsborough that we support as well. So it is, it's unique in the sense that, we try to stretch our resources as best as we can to support all of our locations. So
And your 7 folks, they support your offsite locations as well.
they do.
Okay.
Yes.
So traveling. And we spoke earlier or later, depending upon when this falls, with Felix and Paul. They're part of your department, obviously.
Yes.
Excellent. How long have you, now Jim, I know how long you've been here. Was it over 2 years ago? But Melissa, you were here then.
How long have you been at Matheny for? So I've been at Matheny. This year is my 10th year at Matheny.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about this place, what it does.
This place is, I think, calling it special does it a little bit of a disservice. We are a very unique place that serves a very unique population of people. We only serve the most medically complex developmentally disabled. While we function in our environment like a long-term care facility, we provide a higher level of care, which allows us to have an acute it's a specialty hospital license through the state of New Jersey. So it provides a unique set of challenges maintaining the building while also maintaining a hospital-like environment for our folks. I came here looking for a career change, and it's truly a special place that I've fallen in love with. I find that everyone here, whether you're a maintenance mechanic or a nurse, it's a vocational calling. It's a special place to be able to, it's a special place to be able to support our folks.
So I will just add to that. As you know, I come from running 10 million square foot of some of the most complex space that exists. ESL 3 labs, vivariums, a teaching medical facility. And what happens here was more amazing than any of those things with very little technology. As Moses said, everybody has multiple issues that they need to deal with. We have people who develop programs and develop chairs. Their wheelchair is their life. It's their environment. It's their bedroom. It's their living room. And when you see that this is done by people doing tasks for other people with essentially no technology other than the CPAP, maybe it's humbling. It's like, wow, this still exists, and this is how our residents get the best service and the best life. When you come here, just unlike any other parent, first time I walked through, I came here with the idea nobody can take better care of my kids than I can. Well, that's not true. It's not true. Our residents thrive here, and it's because of all of the very different programs of people that we have.
The person who their life is in their wheelchair, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So, as you walk through our facility, you'll see that there's no one wheelchair that is like the other. we truly customize the seating to the individual due to various positioning needs for all, not even just our 101 folks here, our folks in group homes. It is how they interact with the world. So you'll see various ways of moving in the wheelchair, whether if it's a power wheelchair, if someone has functionality of this pinky finger, they will make it so they have the ability to drive their wheelchair with that pinky finger.
Wow.
Our folks communicate differently than you and I do. Many of our folks use different communication devices. So, developing different stands or modalities to have that device mounted to their lap tray is crucial for them to be able to advocate for themselves, advocate for their needs, converse with their peers. Things that we all take for granted. These chairs are truly what allows them to be immersed in the world around us.
So I can't speak to today's numbers. When I first came here at that time, 101 residents, we had not had a decubitus for over 22 months. That's, for anyone in the healthcare world, that's an amazing statistic.
Yep. Wow. And you do that in house, the wheelchair, tweaking. It's not even a good word, but whatever the proper word is.
Truly construction.
Construction.
Yeah. We have a whole department, rehab technology, does wheelchair work.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, what other stories are there from the, do you call them residents, patients, students? Because
They're
you have all of it, right?
They're truly patients, but our patient stays aren't measured in days; they're measured in decades. So we refer to them as residents because they are a resident. Even though they're a patient, this is their home.
Yeah.
All right, which presents a whole nother level of challenges. In a traditional hospital setting or a traditional long-term setting, you have turnover that allows you to do certain things.
Yeah.
We thank God our patients are here for decades. So again, challenges in terminal planning, challenges in taking care of the room that are unique to us or to someone's home.
Yeah. When you came, Jim, 2 years ago now, roughly, was there and I know, obviously you knew where you were going, but was there an aha moment where like you said, you've worked big complex hospitals with challenges but did you have an aha here?
Yes. So the first aha, as you know, I retired because I could to come here.
And he's still retired.
Yeah, so I'm enjoying retirement. I play less golf now than when I worked full time. No, Melissa took me through, and everything that you just spoke about was I've never seen it before. And unless you come here, you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
I say, I've seen everything.
Right.
I go, well, no, I haven't. I came here, and that was the aha moment. It was wow, I want to do this. Yeah. As time went on, and Melissa, I go, what's this? And she go, one of two answers. I won't need to get into it this moment. I'd be like, wow, okay, why? Right? And then you figure out the why. Everybody's always done everything with the best intent and with the limited resources they have. And again, I think we're in a good direction now where we have the confidence of most people here and the board that we're making very sound decisions on what we're doing. But that was my aha moment, was the day I walked around. I was like, no, I haven't seen this before.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, and unless if you could talk about your career transition, but just kind of along those lines, Jim. So when Jack and I first came here, I don't know, it was 8, 9, 10 years ago. It was obviously before you to do a recruitment. It was very similar for us. It's funny when you were talking about the wheelchairs. When we walked in the main entrance, one of the first residents we saw was in that wheelchair. And just that's where it hits you, because it's not like people you would typically see in a wheelchair at an acute care hospital. So this Matheny, and the other was where I've never forgotten, was at Matheny Cancer Center. We were doing a recruitment down there, and we were waiting in the in the cafeteria before our appointment, and the patient walked through, and their face was gone, like from the nose to here. It just like the weight of the place hits you when you see something like that.
Well, and I think, you know what, to add to that aha moment was kind of pro-walk. We were taking a tour, I remember this specifically, and Melissa stopped probably after 10th, 12th time she stopped. I was like, wow, she knows every single resident by name. And I was like, and it's not just that she knows their name, she knows their story, and she's stopping to interact with them because they wanted her to. And it's kind of, in a world where you walk quickly down hallways and often forget to say good morning.
Yeah.
Right? That was, wow, this is very, very different.
Yeah.
You know, again, people serving people. You know, I think in facilities, especially today with the technology, you get lost in what, oh, wow, yeah, I have 30,000 points that I monitor. You know,
Right.
And you often forget that there's people behind those doors.
Yeah. What's funny, we were just actually talking about that. I was talking to the guys from MD Anderson and talked about two extremes, right? But they were talking about kind of like that alarm fatigue, though. Like everything is monitored these days, and the alarms are going off all the time, and you kind of lose track. You lose track because it's overwhelming. Mm-hmm. It's just overwhelming. Melissa, what you said you wanted a career change. Where did you come from?
So I came from a completely different industry. Out of college, I worked in wealth management.
Oh, wow.
So completely different industry. Was fortunate enough to be laid off and was doing some searching, and someone recommended that I look at Matheny because I wanted to do something completely different. Only position that I was qualified for was the front desk receptionist. So I worked the second shift front desk reception. And it's there that I think I truly fell in love with this place, because I have residents visit me in the evening, and they're greeting their own family members and visitors, or they're coming up to gossip with me and to see who's here tonight, you know. So I really had the pleasure of getting to know our folks that way. And then, you know, we were due for a joint commission survey, and the facilities department needed some assistance with that. Have a little bit of, you know, compliance background working in a different industry, but compliance is compliance everywhere.
Yeah.
So I rearranged their books, and then I think I lasted at the front desk for 6 months, and they brought me into a coordinator role, and I've been in the department ever since.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
What a great, like you're talking about filling roles and stuff. What a great pathway in. And it can really come from anywhere. It's like, you ask people, there's really not usually a linear progression, right? Usually there's starts and stops and twists and turns for most people. So when you came into the role, now obviously you've been here a while, but like, what was it like walking into the facilities world for you?
Overwhelming. I didn't know what a fire pump was. You know, I had no background outside of attempting to maintain my own house. So this was a big stretch for me. But for me, I'm a learner. I really fell in love with learning about everything that sort of makes that building run in there. So it's become not just a vocational calling to serve our patients, but I truly enjoy doing what we do, keeping that roof hopefully on today. So, yeah.
And one of my pleasures is I had a lot of staff who have raised the level of director over the course of my career. None of them have gathered as much information or attained as much information in this period of time. So it's great having someone who wants to learn, and I occasionally get to after she does a presentation. Well, been known to say, not bad for their size. Right?
Thank you.
And to that, we also have something else. We had you interviewed Felix. I never met the person my age who wants to learn something new.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, Felix is asking me, okay, how do you do that? It's enjoyable. I get a great deal of enjoyment out of that.
Yeah. Is the staff here, are most long-term? I know Felix is 23 and Paul's 29 years. Have you guys retained well?
We have retained well. We do run I would say a majority of our folks are more longer term. I think from there, we have folks here since 2009, since the pandemic, and we have a couple of newer employees, like within the last 2 years. So there is a range as far as years served.
So I've always believed in look at what you do, figure out what you do well.
Yep.
Do it, get rid of the rest. So here we found some interesting things of what we do well versus what we should outsource. And so it's a different mix. For instance, I've never seen a group so small handle plowing the way our guys did. This was the worst year of New Jersey in a decade.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We were better than every surrounding town.
Right.
With a very limited staff. And to that point, in today's market, it's hard to get skilled trades. So Melissa and Victor, who is in charge of our custodial group, have a career ladder program. They just started, and it looks like we're going to have our first service worker become a maintenance mechanic in the very near future. We created a position in between. That's right. And then we're hopeful that we can take another service worker who has interest and put it through that cycle. So we're looking at what we do well versus what we don't do well here a lot more often than I ever have, because it's more dynamic. It can change from day to day.
How does your service department, I assume they're a willing participant in this, and if a person's looking to better themselves, well, they're either going to do it with you or they're going to leave. Is that kind of like the mindset that you guys interact with? Because I know there are some organizations where they're very protective of their folks.
Well, we are becoming more protective of our folks, and we want the career ladder. For instance, gentleman that you interviewed this morning, Felix, started here as a DSP. He actually took care of Chuck Matheny.
He was saying that there.
So we want, and it's dual purpose. We want to see our people advance. We encourage them to take areas of classes and so forth. And we also need our people to advance because, as you know, you just drove here. We're 30 miles away from a competitive marketplace.
Yeah.
All right. We can't match a lot of the salaries and the benefit programs that larger institutions have. So once we get someone who wants to learn, if he gets to learn, we want the keys and that's our alternate, is coming up with that career path to feed ourselves. Because it's very hard, as you know, to live off the outside world today.
It is. Yeah, it is. How long did it take you guys to develop that career path?
Not long, I would say. We filled it very quickly the minute we rolled it out. We had to go to position control, develop it, see how it would float between myself, my department, and Victor's department. It's a dynamic role that, has shared responsibilities between both of us, but I was able to fill it once it was posted.
Well, how is it dynamic role with? So are they both a service and a facilities employee? They do both.
They do.
In the beginning, yes.
Oh, interesting.
In the beginning, yes. Because of our, we don't have a lot of economies that we can utilize because of our size.
Right.
So that when they developed this, it was the person coming from environmental services would still share some of the duties that are learned when someone initially comes here, like forecare and so forth, and then start taking on entry level maintenance items like changing light bulbs, responding to stoppages and so forth, and grow through that way. And then spend time with mechanic to learn how to do HVACPS and so forth. And I believe that's he started this probably about 9 months after I came. And we had our first position about over a year ago. And we're going to have our first transition into maintenance from there. And you know what? It predates me because we had one of our mechanics didn't come from an agency who was providing cleaning into a make this decision. And we just spoke a few words. So we had stumbled. Yeah. And conversely, we have a environmental service worker has decided they want to pursue nursing. So we, please pursue it. We'll go into a direct support personnel role and pursue that career path.
How many employees are here in total?
I believe we're somewhere around 600. One thing that you find out is our staff to resident ratio is extremely high. And that's because of all of the support professional that we, for instance, in school, we only have 4 students, but boys not referrals fully. But you would like a 2011 with our student population in 2011, I want to say we have almost 60.
Okay.
But when you look at those 60 people, who was there to support it? I think only one of them or 2 of them had a one-on-one nurse. And it was under 10 that had direct support professionals. So for that group of 6, we had 72 people. We needed to fit last year for 42. And I do remember these numbers exactly. 9 of them had one-on-one nurses, 27 of them had one-on-one therapists. So that group, 20% smaller, we had to fit 20% more people in flesh. And that's where we ended up over there.
What type of education programs do you have here?
We're recognized by the state of New Jersey Department of Education. We issue a diploma when people graduate high school, when they graduate 12th grade.
We are in an APSSD school.
APSS?
APSSD, yeah. So we are a out-of-district placement for public school children who their educational needs aren't met by their existing district.
Okay.
And we support our pediatric population through the age of 21.
Okay. So if at the local level, if a student has needs beyond what could be provided, they come here, potentially go back. So there's a transitory, they're in and out.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yes. We have folks
Not very
in and
well.
out. Yeah. We have folks in and out. Not bad, but
And like our residents, the students that we typically get, need most education. He the most detailed education, the most involved education, and people don't do this because there's not a margin.
Yeah.
All right. So we are educating the children who don't have the margin. And that's nothing against the people who are profiting off of it because they provide a valuable service. But we are educating those people that there is no margin.
Yeah. I wonder how much it costed Eddie. Do you guys know that?
It's an unbelievable sum of money that I will not quote because I could be off by a lot.
it's a lot of money.
It's a tremendous.
So
When you think about what goes into a child, think about it. We have children that are here on meds that have a nurse and a para by their side the entire time they are here.
Being transported here via ambulance.
Yes. Our class sizes are very small. I think with that, there's 2 very interesting things. When we were looking to move to a building, no one has entries on the students. We have classrooms.
Yeah.
So our principal and Bruno and Melissa basically sat down and watched and did the math of it to create classrooms. What would we need? We can only put 8 students in here. We need it. How higher education went away from a lecture hall? Well, we need a flat lecture hall.
Yeah.
All right, because we need that width.
Right.
And that's how many people would put in. And to their credit as well, one thing in New Jersey, we're very unique. We have a Department of Education that has this whole set of rules that are labeled under the Department of Education. But they really, 95% of them really exist under the Department of Health, Environmental Protection. So Melissa and Ann have been working out this crosswalk, which to my knowledge, no one's ever done before, for hospital regs, higher education regs, and New Jersey K-12 regs, which is, and we've talked about this before, and I'm sure she's going to send it off to you when they're done, and they're pretty close to being done. And it's a great tool because we have this thing where we have to speak to the K-12 world, and you have to speak to the hospital world.
Right.
And as you know, there's differences between K-12, there's different higher education, hospital, private real estate. But one of our shortcomings as a facilities industry, it's 90% of that is common knowledge. Yet in healthcare, we sat up here like, guess how, never mind hooked up. And K-12, they're a hospital. They don't know what they're doing. We have to report to the Department of Education. Where 95% of what we all do is common. Yet we have certifications for everything. Right? Yeah. Well, you can't run a hospital, but you can't run K-12. You don't have this. You don't have that.
Yeah.
So, as an industry, as industries, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you just brought that up because I was thinking, so you guys, like, there's the academic component and you're regulated. There's obviously the healthcare component. You're regulated by Joint Commission, right? Joint
Yes.
Commission, sorry. So and you're developing that crosswalk picture, but is there anything, not challenging, but like managing those different areas? It's very unique. On one campus, what are the needs and it's a very challenging mosaic of stuff.
And what's a challenging mosaic are not the regulations, it's the people who have grown up under one of these umbrellas who have been taught over time, oh, that's not relevant here. When you peel the top off, you see they're all referencing the same thing, but very few exceptions. That when you look at healthcare in New Jersey Department of Education, 90% of the time, healthcare is running to a higher standard and has a more restrictive rule. But on this very limited criteria, Department of Education is running an extremely hot, higher level. So we broadcast to everybody, we're going to run at the most restricted level. We don't need to do this many fire alarms a quarter. Yes, we do, because we're covering 2 different entities.
Right.
So the balancing act is with the people. And you know what? As time goes on, with more exposure, the balancing act becomes easier because, there's more input, there's more understanding. So, but that's just not here. That's his industry as we do that.
Right. Just, don't want to take up too much time, but you mentioned technology and kind of like a lack of technology within your buildings here. This question doesn't make any sense, but I'm just going to throw it out. Well, it got me thinking, Jim, because we're always talking, right? We always talk about technology. We always talk about data. We always talk about AI.
2 different things. Data and technology.
Well, you know why I roll them together? Because people have bad data, and if you have bad data, you're going to have bad technology. So I always kind of just. But how do you guys? It's almost like going back into a simpler time, I guess. How do you somebody's saying? We have lots of younger folks, and they've grown up in a technological world, and they manage by technology. How do you guys do it here without creature comforts that most people are getting used to? Does that make sense?
I will tell you that we are more of a metrics-based facilities department than 95% of the people out there. It's just we do it a little bit differently. I started in this industry at a time when you pulled the index card out.
Yeah.
The data on that index card is the same data that you have on a PC today. It's just more easily manipulated and more easily accessible. So to me, metrics and technology don't match. They're completely separate. When I think of technology, I think of automation, I think of control systems, and we are rebuilding our control systems. But again, technology is only good, no matter whether it's here or MB Anderson, is only good to the point that it's usable. Mm-hmm. Right? At a prior institution, I will tell you, we had a gentleman, oh my God, nobody knows our BMS. He's retiring. We're going to be screwed. Right? He retired. We went from 40 temperature calls a day to 20. All right. And that happens in more places than anybody wants to admit because people become enamored with the panel. Rather, that is a diagnostic tool. You still need to do the physical elements of it.
Yeah.
All right. It allows you to do your job in a different way. So we're not that far behind. We just may not utilize the same systems as other people. An example, we do we maintain a few metrics that require these guys, not me anymore, to go into several different programs in several different areas to compile the information. If we had some of the programs that larger institutions had, that would be keystroke. Right? We still have to do some of the manual labor to get to the keystroke. But the information that we collect, the information that we maintain, is good information. I'm going to say just as good as anyone is doing for us to provide metrics. We provide monthly metrics on every usable piece of work order and labor data. Victor provides metrics on, we still do personal clothes and laundry on all our laundry data. We fall within the 75 percentile of all of the hospitals out there as far as our building metrics, maintenance coverage, environmental services coverage, and we measure that and we maintain it. Again, go back 20 years. That's our process.
Yeah.
Someday, it'll be great to have a more modern process. But to your point, if you don't have the index cards with the right information, doesn't matter how advanced you are, you're just going to get that information.
Right. I love that your line there, enamored with the panel.
One of our things here, we're making an attempt to teach our mechanics how to use it. And I use that line all the time, is that this is just a diagnostic tool, right? And you need to know what you're looking at so that you can go to the equipment, troubleshoot the equipment. Without saying any names, we have a previous vendor who, I'm going to look at this online. What's happened the last 3 times?
It's more or less delayed a dispatch of a mechanical tech to come out and physically look.
Because
at the equipment.
I'm not a controls tech, but I can see a supply air temp, a return air temp, and do the math.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what we need to get across to people. And unfortunately, not so much in hospitals, because typically we have people who can understand it. But when you go into like the K-12s and public schools of the world, where, a building mat, as we had the discussion before, you can turn on and turn off. Where creative problems. You come from a time like me, right? There was a time, Dalton Place air handler or Buffalo fan. Yeah, I'm going to get 40 years out of that unit. Today's package units, you're replacing them in 15 to 17 years. Right? Controls. I think the worst thing that we've seen is the life cycle of life safety components like fire alarms. Right? You're talking about a 7 to 11 year life cycle when I'm sure you go into facilities where you see pyro panels from the 70s that still function.
Right.
So that's how I think we've changed.
Yeah.
Over time. It's the basics are still the same. It's just how you use those basics and how much information you can have at your fingertips.
So last question for Jim Campoli, Director, Melissa Petraka, Manager, Facilities. Somebody who's watching us, what do you want them to take away about this place, about Matheny?
what you can take away from Matheny, that even a small facility like ours that does some pretty unique things with patients, our problems are everybody else's problems. Yeah. Budgetary constraints to be aged. I'm going to quote Jim. It's not aging, it's aged. We're old.
You have to get the correct tense.
It's aged.
I like the action.
Aged.
We're not changing the taglines.
We often have, when we're doing tours and a medical director go AJ, and our CEO will look at me. I go, age.
We're there. We're old.
Well, yeah.
Our problems are the same as anybody else's. It's just what scale is it?
Right.
We're small, but everyone's problems are the same. And managing that within, I would say, a unique patient environment, that's the uniqueness. Navigating someone's home, towing the regulatory line while also making a room feel like someone's bedroom
Yeah.
is a unique challenge for us. It's a balancing act. We hear all the time, and I'm sure you do too. Everything is focused. We're managing the problems, the equipment, and putting out all the fires all day long while attempting to maintain preventative maintenance on old equipment. Really, the element that's unique to Matheny is we're also trying to infuse some life into our folks' bedrooms, some life into the building while making it feel, because that's an element of care.
Right.
We're maybe 3 spaces removed of, we're part of their care team. We're managing that environment for them. So it's, for Matheny, to me, that's the meaningful element of it. It's why I like doing what I do is I get to have a hand in their care. It's not, putting hands on patients or anything like that, but that's the unique factor.
What's interesting, Jen, if you go next, please. But what's interesting, it kind of hit me when you said that. And I know it's not the saying, but I was just thinking, imagine if Joint Commission was in your house. Right.
Most people would fail.
Right. And I don't know, perhaps it's too simplistic, but I was like, in a way, your folks are residents. They live here. That's their bedroom. That's their room. Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. Jim.
So I would say, what do I want people to take away from here? First, you can't take it away unless you actually come. You can't understand it unless you actually come. So there's an open invite to anyone who ever wants to see us. We love to have you. Just, even if you don't have our phone number, you can show up at the front desk and ask for Melissa. And she,
I love giving a tour.
and she will gladly take you
Do
around.
you still?
Sorry?
Do you still like giving tours?
I do. I do. I love showing this place.
With that being said, I think what I learned is it doesn't matter the size, it doesn't matter the fiscal stability. We're in healthcare, we're all in the business of improving lives. Our way of improving a life is over a longer period of time and in a different environment than someone going into a hospital for 3 days for surgery, or someone with an infection going into a unit for recovery. We're all doing the same thing. It's not about who's got the most points that they're monitoring. It's not about the square footage. It's about the life that we provide to the people that we serve. And I tell you that from my experience in healthcare, which spans back to 1984, we're giving more for the dollar than any place I've ever been.
Yeah.
And with less dollars.
Yeah.
So, and again, you can't really understand it unless you come here.
Right.
But that's what I like people to take away. We're not the Mayo Clinic. We're not a Manhattan hospital, but we give our patients, residents, everything they need to thrive.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I would, not to make your life busier, But I mean, Jim's right. Like I said, when it first came out here, however long ago it was, there's nothing like seeing your facility here. It reminds me, like you said, 111,000 square feet, but just visually, I just see like a Bible or like this massive dictionary, and that's your facility. Like it's much more than 111,000. You pack thousands of pages within this footprint, and it's amazing.
And then just when you're up here and you see where we are, there's usually 2 eagles in the tree right outside of his office. We've had Somerset County come up. We have 55 species of birds. Now, where else? We have students, right?
Yeah.
So we had students where Paul, who you met, built birdhouses, deconstructed the birdhouses so that the students could put them together and paint them, put them out on the nature trail for the students to go out with their art teacher this year to find that 4 of them were inhabited with nests. Right? Then they went back and read up on it and found out that, hey, these birdhouses, you stand a better chance of them being inhabited if they face, I think it was northeast.
South.
Or they face a certain direction.
Yeah.
They went out with a compass with their students, and it's like, oh, wow, the ones that are inhabited, cool.
Yeah.
Face this direct. So they switched some others, and now they have birds populating those.
Wow.
So it's, there's things that you pass up, you don't think about.
Yeah.
For people like events, beginning of the spring, there's 101 person drum circle out behind the building. Right?
Yeah. Last week we covered our back courtyard area with foam. We had a whole foam party. Think of 101 folks
In wheelchairs.
wheeling their wheelchairs through foam.
Oh, the big foam? Oh,
Yeah.
That was like, get a bunch of toothbrushes, start cleaning wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Did I see that on LinkedIn?
Probably.
It was posted.
Probably. Yes.
It was posted.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Melissa, Jim, man, it's unique. It's a unique environment. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. We will be back. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the network. And more importantly, share it with your colleagues in the healthcare industry. Together, we can solve the aging crisis that's impacting all of us. So we're here in the breakout room with 2 of the fine maintenance mechanics here at Matheny. I am pleased to be joined by my guest Paul Di Venezia and Felix Musha-Yandavu.
Correct.
Perfect. So I thank Paul and Felix for joining me. And what we wanted to do with Paul and Felix here, first, guys, can you tell us how long have you been working here at Matheny?
I've been at Matheny for over 29 years, a little over 29 years.
Long time.
Yeah, a lot guy. Yeah.
So you've probably seen a lot come and go over those 20
Oh yes. Oh, without a doubt.
Yes,
Without a
yes. And Felix, you?
I've been here for 23 years.
23 years. So a typical day here at Matheny, what does it look like? Is there a typical day?
Well, that's a good question because there really is not. Felix and I always talk about you'll never know what you encounter from day to day. I was hired as the cabinet maker 29 years ago. And I remember the original ad said, and other duties as assigned. So, little did I know that I would be cutting grass, plowing, shoveling snow, doing some masonry work, whatever we had to do. And which made it very refreshing because I feel I'm very much well-rounded now.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think over here, you can't plan that, this day will be like this. No. With maintenance, it's a no. Because there can be things which can just arise.
Yes.
And you have to attend to them.
Yes.
Like this morning, I always do my morning rounds. This morning, to my surprise, I go down Highland Avenue to check the water pumps. Find that the pumps are down. So That means my whole day. If it means that the electricians or the pump service guys don't come in time, it will be a day where I have to spend checking on the pumps all the time, seeing where we are. That's the type of maintenance we do.
So the day is never yours, and that was that caused by the thunderstorm last night that we're all through?
I think so.
Yeah. So even while you're home sleeping, your facility's getting impacted.
Yes.
So
Sometimes we get called here during night.
Yeah, it's the 24/7 operation, so that's what we signed up for when we became maintenance mechanics. Is you know, we're here at whenever Matheny needs us.
yeah, what is it?
Like on Friday, I was called around 11 o'clock at night that one of the patient beds was broken and we had to exchange. So I had to go.
11 o'clock.
Yeah. And at night.
Tell us a little bit about the patients here at Matheny and some of the uniqueness in working here at Matheny.
Oh boy, the patients are all so unique. They really brighten our days. Just walking in the hallways and doing our jobs. We have so many special relationships with a lot of the patient, a lot of the residents that you know, will make us laugh, make us you know, motivated to do things really for them, because that's why we're here. And it's, you know, I know Felix and I, especially Felix, likes to joke around with some of the patients. We know what we can, you know, what they say to us and what we say to them can result in a lot of laughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the patients here. We have a number of them who can't talk, but you can tell that they are happy, or today they are not happy by the way they do.
Yeah.
Those who can talk, oh, it makes our day,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because they can even shout when you are at a distance, calling your name. Come here. And you go there. Yeah, I need this, that. And you know, sometimes if you go check on what they are saying, you'll find it real. And if you fix that, they'll be very thankful. Oh, thank you. And it makes your day.
Absolutely. Very thankful for what they can do for them.
Yeah.
And they probably don't realize how much they give back to us to, you know, it really is satisfying.
And very friendly also. They are.
Yeah. How long, and you may not know the answer, but so you call them residents or patients?
Well, we interchange both, but we also call them students, right? Felix? Back in the day, we used to call them students, patients, residents. Sometimes we mostly refer to them as these days as residents. Yeah, because they're residents, right? The residents here.
How long, what's the longest that you've had a resident stay here? Does one come to the top of your mind where you were interacting with a resident for, 10 plus, 15 plus years? Does it go that long, or?
Oh, absolutely.
Because the ages are what, 3 to 21, or?
No, there are some who are older than that.
Yeah, much older. We're not. We don't work directly with the students, with the residents, so we don't know a lot of the personal, interactions. But we, for example, there are some that been here since I started, almost, that, maybe just a little after they came to Matheny, a little after I started. So quite a long time,
Yeah, that's a while. Is there any patient, any resident that stands out to you, but that you remember, any experience that you've just never forgotten?
I may say, do you mean when these ones who are still here, or even those who...
Here or gone? Yeah.
One of them was Mr. Matheny.
Yeah. Oh. Yes.
I used to, like some weekends, I used to take care of him. Sometimes go take him to church on Sundays. Oh, we'll have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good one.
They used to argue too, back and forth, and you know, he would get a little upset with Felix, and Felix, oh, you know, if you don't want to, you know, if you don't want me to take care of you, and you know, because he used to be his personal like PCA, they called it back in the day. You know, Felix would tell him, well, then we're gonna delay you eating breakfast, and then eventually he would come back. Okay, Felix, all right, what's for breakfast? And I always told him too. I said, Chuck, you know, your brothers. This is your brother. He's like, I don't want him as my brother. So, and I said, well, I see the family resemblance, you know. So, but he was, oh my God, he was amazing. What an amazing man. We'll never forget Chuck. Chuck is always, oh my goodness.
And one other thing is, we are still putting his star. There is a star which we
Yes.
call Chuck Matheny star.
The Christmas star. Yeah, I actually made it probably 25 years ago. The original star had was a solid piece of plywood, and up here on the mountain, it got battered, and so I made an open frame 5-point Christian star, and with lights and Chuck would tell me, Paul, December 1st, I want that star up on the roof. So every year, ever since 25 years ago, I made sure that star was on under roof. And then after the Epiphany, usually after January 8th, we would take it down.
Wow. Yeah, because you guys are located on a beautiful piece of property on top of it's a beautiful spot.
That thing, you can see it, if it's during night, when it's up there, you can see it from 206 if you find it.
Wow. Yeah, you find the right view. Yeah, in between the trees.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Paul and Felix have a day job that they need to go to, so I can't keep too long, but just let's go back to like the maintenance perspective or kind of your day-to-day. What are some of the challenges that you guys face in your job, in your role?
Well, it's definitely not working materials. Matheny gives us everything we need, our tools, our material, whatever we need to do the job. We're always given the ability to do so. But there's times when we have to redirect our attention to something else that arose that's more important, and usually involving, the students. So, when I was hired as a cabinet maker, I was not spending 8 hours in the wood shop. I was, breaking that up, doing other things as needed. Mm-hmm. So,
Jack of all trades.
Yes, more or less, yeah. Except the electrical, Felix does. Oh my God, he's amazing with metal work. We found our little niches too. Felix, I'm the woodworker. Felix is the metal worker. The things he created out of metal and the inventions that he created are just incredible. He made carts out of old discarded shower trolleys for a certain, and that just used parts, manufacturing something that we needed around the premises. So,
do you remember the old show MacGyver?
Oh yes,
Is he MacGyver?
oh without doubt, without a doubt, absolutely.
Well, like some of the challenges we may face is we are provided everything to use, but sometimes the challenge will be like it's something which we don't know.
Yeah.
That's where you have a challenge now. So you have to wait for someone to come from outside, yet you want it done like that.
Yeah.
So calling in like an outside subcontractor
Will come, but not at our time. But that's one thing we can say. Sometimes it gives us a little bit of challenge. Like right now, we have this water issue. The water guys have been called. You don't know what time they will arrive.
Right. because they're facing the same challenge. But they don't have enough city and
Yeah.
it's tough. Yeah, and you guys, you got your residents and your buildings right there. Last question, I promise. You're wearing 2 shirts. Miles from Matheny. What's Miles from Matheny?
Well, Miles for Matheny is the largest fundraiser at Matheny, and I don't remember exactly how many. I believe 25 years. Am I wrong? It's been
Almost the same time you use the original start.
yeah. So maybe around 20 years ago, we were asked to start participating in it, and it's just a huge event with outside the public relations department and the development department run it, and they get all kinds of vendors and supporters that will come, and the main event, of course, is the wheelchair walk and wheel and walk. So the residents will parade around. This year we had it on the premises here, so and they're cheered as they go along. It's just an amazing event, and it really raises the morale at Matheny.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a time when most of the staff, even those who don't work directly with the students, that day will be together with them.
That's right.
So everyone who is at Matheny will be together with the students. One can have time to interact, do whatever.
Yeah. Yep. How many miles is it? 3.1.
Well, there is a 5K and there's a kids run, and there's like I said, the main event is the residents.
Yeah.
And they come from the group homes also. So we have 5 group homes. It's quite an event. It's amazing to see and to be part of. We're actually blessed to be part of it all these years.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time, my guest. I have to put my glasses on because I hate butchering last name. Paul Divenezia.
Americanized.
Yeah, I'm very. And you told me that. And Felix Musha Yandevo.
Correct. Mushayandebu.
Better than I did. I thank you for coming on the network. I told you it would be painless. That wasn't bad, right? But
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
thank you, gentlemen. We'll be back. So I'm here with Nancy Hamstra. Nancy is the CEO, president of Matheny. Nancy, you have an interesting career. I mean, you've worked in large organizations at the CEO level, large acute care organizations, UMN, I'm going to get the acronyms wrong, University Hospital for many years. Compare and contrast, if you will, the differences between large acute care footprint medical center and here now at Matheny.
Great. So I did spend most of my career at UMDNJ, the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, which is now no longer in existence. So the medical schools migrated into Rutgers, and the hospital, University Hospital, is a standalone state of New Jersey hospital. And it's an academic medical center. So it's the place where people who are at the top of their profession are training the next generation of healthcare workers. So medical students, nursing students, physical therapy students. And we're in the city of Newark, a large urban population, level 1 trauma center, liver transplant center, level 3 nursery.
Wow.
So it was a very busy, very dynamic environment with people who were teaching as well as practicing their profession, and they were at the top of their game. And patients would come in and out of the facility, and you measure your contact time with them in their length of stay by days. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 3 weeks. Here at Matheny, the adults and children that we serve in our special hospital we measure their length of stay by years. And many of our patients have been with us the majority of their life. So very different, a different physical environment, very different relationship with the patients. The care providers here really get to know the patients. More so than you would ever see in an acute care environment where someone comes and maybe stays for 4 or 5 days or even 2 weeks. You might get to know family members or visitors that come. You may get to know a little bit more about the patient if their stay is a 3-week rather than 3 days. But here at Matheny, we get to know and be part of all their life experiences, all of their milestones. We run not only this special hospital, but we run a school. And we just last week had high school graduation for 2 of our patients. They have been with us for most of their lives.
Wow.
And it's interesting, half of our patients don't have family. Either they don't have family alive or they don't have family that's involved. But the auditorium was filled because their family is really the Matheny care teams. And the people that came in to see the 2 graduates go across the stage and make their speech, that's the Matheny family.
Yeah.
So very different, a different relationship with the patients, different relationship with the family members too. For the patients that do have involved family members, we have a parent advisory group. We get to know them. We get to know their challenges. We have meetings, periodic meetings with them. And it's a whole different relationship.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's funny. I've talked to a number of your people, folks who work here, and relationship is such a key. It's just like when you said the word relationship, sometimes you get hit by like a bolt of light. I was like, that's what it is. It's so unique here compared to other places.
It is. It took me a while. And your questions prompted me to think about the difference. And when you walk the halls of Matheny, you can feel the love. You can see, you have some of our patients, or many of our patients, are nonverbal. But there's not an employee that walks past someone in a hallway or someone in a room that doesn't engage in some way with that patient.
Yeah.
And you can actually feel the love.
Yeah, no, you can't. It's funny. Melissa and Jim took me around for a great tour. You guys pack so much in here. It's amazing. And I said to Jim and Melissa when we were at lunch, like, your halls are vibrant and you feel that. Like, even though your patients or your residents, I know people use different words for it, are profoundly impacted, but yet it's vibrant and everybody has a unique personality and they're all engaged.
And it's interesting because, there's a bunch of rules for running a hospital, and certainly even more rules for running a school. But this is where people live too.
Yeah.
So we're always balancing. We allow certain things to happen in their space, in their room. But again, this is a hospital. So we have all the rules that you would have in an acute care setting or in a long-term care setting about bringing in appliances and decorating and, ceiling penetrations and all the concerns that you have.
Yeah.
But this is their home too. So we do let the residents and the patients, we operate group homes as well. So if one of our residents wants to paint their room purple, we paint their room purple. We let them have that choice, and they can decorate within reason as long as it's not a safety issue. This is their space. This is their home.
Yep, this is their home.
heard lots of great stories, and there's one that Jim told off camera that we didn't get, but you mentioned it earlier. Would you mind telling the birdhouse story?
Oh, sure.
Which I think shows some great uniqueness.
So we have an extremely talented team member in our maintenance team, Paul, and he is so creative and so talented. And the school was looking for a project for the students, the high school students, to do. So Paul created birdhouses that could be assembled by the students and painted by the students. And we have a nature walk, and they installed the birdhouses, and we had someone from the county come and do a program for us regarding the migratory birds that actually are on our campus. So it was a full circle event. It was, and the school actually asked permission to name the nature walk after Paul.
Oh, wow.
So he was so touched. It was a surprise to him at that day, and people enjoy going on the nature walk and looking at the different birdhouses, and every single one of them is decorated differently because our students are so different and so unique. And I think the last report I had, 4 of them actually had nests.
Amazing.
But it's a good example of how everybody here chips in, and the teamwork really is what leads to the success.
Yeah. Was there something that surprised you about Matheny when you started that you didn't expect? I'm sure you did your due diligence. You were aware of a lot, but was there something when you actually got to see, like, boy, I didn't expect that?
There's a lot of strength in the organization here. The thing that surprised me most was the talented people here and the teamwork. I had never worked with life enrichment experts. So we have an LET team, life enrichment team. And
Tess, what do they do? Sorry, because I'm not familiar.
what don't they do? I mean, they are in charge of life enrichment. They run programs. They create experiences and opportunities for fun and joy and opportunities to achieve. So one day they may be training people for the Special Olympic event.
Wow.
Another day they're taking some people out kayaking. Just last week, the entire green zone was covered in foam because they had a foam party and music, and they're just in charge of fun. Once a month, they have what they call elegant dining, and it's usually a theme. In May, it was Cinco de Mayo. In March, it was St. Patrick's Day. I'm sure the 4th of July one is coming up next week. And it's just an opportunity to celebrate in the moment and create joy and inclusion and fun.
Yeah.
And they're so good at it. They are so good at it. And it's not just them, because you see the nurses actually dancing. And you see, so if the music is on and it's a dance party, everybody's dancing. They tried to get me to go through the foam. And I almost went. And next time they do it, I'm definitely going to bring different clothes so that I can go through the foam. But they stimulate the fun, but everybody jumps in. And, whether it's a housekeeper or the maintenance team or the nurses or the doctors, everybody on the unit is there just to create a sense of purpose and a sense of joy in the moment.
Yeah. Wow.
You don't have... we had therapists in an acute care hospital, physical therapist, occupational therapist. And we did have fun at University Hospital, but there was nobody's job to have fun. they create such joy and fun, and it's infectious. Special people do that kind of work, and we're fortunate that we have such a talented team here.
Yeah. Well, when we were walking outside, one of your buses was right in front of the main entrance, and I asked Jim, I said, well, where do the buses go? And he said that. He's like, water skiing or water events. I guess, a couple of weeks ago, it went to the mall because you guys had a prom. And so it took residents to get their prom dresses.
Exactly. They'll go to the nail salon, or they'll go out shopping to the mall, or sometimes they'll go to a sporting event. And the life enrichment team, they sometimes will drive the bus. They went on an overnight trip. So not only the life enrichment team, but a nurse had to go on an overnight trip. And again, the doctors have to approve that for our fragile patients. But it's a whole team event.
Yeah. No, it is an amazing place. Jim actually, when he was talking, said that you really have to come here to see it, to visualize it. And he's really true. And what is really true, but kind of along those lines, Nancy, and I appreciate your time. I know we have a limited amount of time, but what are some of the... You guys are doing a great job here. I mean, it's amazing. You pack so much into this area, but what are some of the challenges that you guys are facing?
So space is huge. And again, this facility was built many years ago, and every patient has at least 2 wheelchairs. So when you see their rooms, and he took you in their rooms.
He did.
So space is an issue, and it's an aging facility. We have beautiful grounds. Yes. We are blessed. The Matheny family was so generous to leave us this legacy. But we have an aging facility. We absolutely need to invest in it. And this is a Medicaid operation. So there's not a big margin here. So everything we do and how we do it, it's important to look at the bottom line and make sure that we're spending the right amount and planning. Budgetary constraints are some of our limitations here. We're fortunate we have some great partners, not only here, but at our group homes. We have some community partners that actually come in and help, and they'll do a day of service. Last year, somebody painted the railings on our way to the Art Center. We have some community groups that'll do plantings at some of our group homes. And there's this great organization, the CARS group, who every holiday comes in the Saturday before Christmas. And they bring gifts for all the patients. They get a list from our social workers of the patients who don't have families or have families that don't have means. And they come in and they give them everything on their wish list, and they throw the biggest party. So those community partners are really important to help with the life enrichment activities here, because you can't pay for those things off of the Medicaid stipend.
Right. Yeah, is it difficult? Not difficult, but is it like promoting what you do and how you do, like getting the word out? Because once people, I'd imagine once they connect to your mission, it's different than ours. We all go through hospitals, but you guys are different. And
it is. And again, I think this administration here, this leadership team here recognizes this, and we're making a conscious effort to tell our story. Everybody who comes in has to take the tour, whether you're
Melissa did a great job.
Yeah. And we have a beautiful wall of all of our milestones and accomplishments. We've reached out to our legislative people, and we've invited them to come here, and they have come. In fact, we just recently had Assemblyman Vincent Carney, who just recently was elected. He came and he toured. And this is his district, and he had never been to Matheny, so he toured, and we invited him to speak at graduation, and he was great. And he talked about the fact that once he saw what we did, it tugs at his heart. So we're telling our story more. It's part of as leaders of what we do and how we develop relationships, because we're up on a hill in an area of the state that most people don't come. Peapack, Gladstone. I've lived in New Jersey my whole life. Until I worked at Matheny, I had never been in Peapack, Gladstone. It's a Bedminster, but it's not. It's not a place that you would normally come to.
Yep.
We move our signature fundraising event as a Smiles for Matheny. We actually moved it onto the campus here. So and for the last 2 years, it's been a great event, and we take people through the facility. They meet our patients. They get to know them.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Yes.
Really important.
And along those lines, final question, Nancy. If you could, if you could talk to somebody who's actually watching this interview on the YouTube channel, what would you want them to understand, or what would you want them to know about your mission here, and about, more importantly, the residents who call this campus their home? Because like you said, they're here for decades, right? They're not 3 days and turning a bed over. This is home.
This is home. And this is their life. And so what I'd want people to know is there's a great team of people that are doing great work, God's work, taking care of and providing exceptional medical care, as well as optimal life experiences for people who have lots of challenges, medically complex, disabled adults and children. And there's a skill to that.
Yeah.
And the people that work here are a great team doing really good work. And I think that we, as care providers and leaders of this organization, we learn more than our school actually teaches. We learn from the patients. Like, you can't have a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should be grateful for every moment that you have. And if you can make it meaningful, and that's what I learned from the employees here, is they have a purpose, a sense of purpose and a sense of service, and they're providing dignity and joy and memories for people. If they say if it's rewarding, it's not work.
Right.
This is a very rewarding place. It really is.
Yeah. One of those memories I'll take from here. Then you have a resident named Emma, and when we were walking around, she was on a bike and she was being pushed, and she was so excited. And Melissa was talking to her, and Emma's like, "Emma bike," and off she went. And it's just.
Emma,
it's like around every corner there's a story.
There is a story. Emma got to go surfing last summer.
Okay.
And so for at least a week after that surfing experience at the Jersey Shore, when you walked by and said hello, Emma surfer, I'm a surfer. And on Friday, Emma gets to talk to her grandma. Her grandma calls every Friday. So on Friday, Emma knows it's Friday, grandma's going to call.
Wow. That's awesome.
It is. But there's 101 people here.
Right.
Yeah, and they all have a story.
Last question, I know I said it. Do you know how many, and maybe you guys don't track it, but the average resident, how many years did they spend here? Do you guys track that at all? It's decades, right?
Well, it is. And, just recently we had, for Miles from Matheny, John Elliott from Channel 2 was interviewing some of our patients. And he was interviewing Josh, who lives in one of our group homes. And he just celebrated his 60th birthday, and he has been with us, since he was 2.
Wow.
So, but I don't actually have that number. We just did a whole Matheny Matters magazine on longevity. So not only the longevity of our patients and residents, but you'll find that the employees that work here are here 30, 40 years. Like, this is their life commitment. In November, we have an employee recognition program where we celebrate the milestones. Last year, I think there were 49 employees, and these were people that were here more than 20 years. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. We have some employees that have been here 30 and 40 years, and no sight of retirement, because this is their life work. This is their sense of purpose.
It's just like a big family.
It is a huge family. A huge family.
So Nancy Hamstra, President, CEO, thank you so much for your time. I
Thank-
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peter Martin for the Healthcare Facilities Network. Thanks for watching. And actually, if somebody wants to support you folks, how can they do that? I know it's Matheny.org, right? But are there other mechanisms?
So there is a link on our homepage.
Okay.
That will take you if you wanted to.
We'll put it right here so people can link to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, financial support is great. But if you want to volunteer, or if you want to, consider a career here, or if you just want to come and learn about us and what we do, and then figure out if there's a fit, you absolutely can just call the main number, and we have a volunteer coordinator who will coordinate that visit.
Well, if you're local, I would encourage it, because there's nothing like walking your halls. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
If you want to be a guest on a future episode of the Healthcare Facilities Network, go to healthcarefacilitiesnetwork.com and let us know who you are and what you want to talk about, because together we can solve this critical aging issue.